Welcome to Handcrafted by G.R. Broussard. I am Greg Broussard, and today we have this chair that we have to repair. The rail has failed, someone leaned back in the chair and pulled the joints apart, and also we have the support that has to be re-drilled and a dowel needs to be put in. This rail's got a slight taper to it on this side. This side's flat, so it'll go into this joint just like this. So all this has to be is the glue needs to be cleaned up, and the dowel is broken on here, and we'll repair that. And this joint is loose, but this one is not. So I have to somehow get this apart to redo this joint. And of course the front joints are all coming apart too. So this thing's got to be disassembled, not the whole chair, but we got to figure out how to get this off here. And the problem is that the screw is stripped underneath here. So I got to figure out how to get that out. And that's going to probably be the main thing, is getting that screw out so we can get this joint apart. This joint's loose in the back right here. It's wiggling around. These have to be done. These have to be done. This one seems to be good, and this seems to be good right here. This is what I'm concerned about. So I got to take these blocks out. I don't know how I'm going to get this joint off here. There's a pocket screw underneath here, and on this side it's stripped. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to drill that out. So on these blocks, there's little nails that are shot in here. Those have to come out to get these off to fix this joint. It's going to take longer than I thought. Let's see if we can get this out without damaging this wood. So after cleaning the glue off the parts, I ran into an issue. These joints are really, really loose. I mean, you can't put this thing together like this. That's loose. This back one is tight. I mean, it's taken apart and cleaned. Also, these joints are loose. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to take this off with that strip screw. I'm gonna have to drill that out. Watch this when it goes in here. Look how much space is on the top of the joint before I put it together, and it's set on the bottom. It's not even set on the bottom all the way. You can see all that space down there. This joint is gonna, I got the glue out where it needs to be, where you glue it together, but it's so, and it's just, I would like to recut all the joints is what I'd like to do, but they're not gonna, they won't go for that. So we got to figure out what to do about this. See in here, I got most of the glue out. There's a little bit more I got to get out, but it counts where it's on glue and glue. I mean, wood on wood contact. So this will go in this way, and you can see that has to be recut. So I have to fill this in. I have to put it in, mark it where it goes, take it out, cut this, fill it with wood, then recut the joint where it's tight. That's the only way this is going to work. I don't know, it goes this way, I think. Whichever way it goes, yeah, I think it goes that way. Okay, not all is lost. It's not the top of the screw that's stripped. I can turn this by hand. It's the hole in the receiving side, the leg that's stripped. So I need to take this off, and I just have to pop this joint out, and then fix this hole where the screw goes. So that's one of the reasons why it's loose like that. So we're going to take this block off and take the block off on the other side like we did the other ones. We're going to take this joint out. Now it shouldn't be an issue. If I can hold the chair still. This is one reason why it failed. This joint was worse than I thought. I've labeled it. Goes in like this. We got to fix that. Now we got to take this one off and fix this one because it's wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. And we'll have everything apart, clean it up, and then reassemble. I'm nervous about this joint. This pocket hole wasn't even in it, anything. This is the pocket hole that was stripped out that I got out. So I'm gonna have to fix this piece right here. So what we're doing is we're gonna make our stop cuts first, and then we'll come in with the chisel and go to our stop cuts. What I'm doing now is I'm cutting the fibers of the wood, so when I come in with my chisel, I don't cut the grain into the leg. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off camera and make a plug for it and patch it. I don't know if this is the smartest way to do this pocket hole screw. The idea is to use this as a guide. Start your drill bit right, and use the drill bit will want to go into this hole. That'll stop it, and then that way I can get this 3/8" dowel inside that hole, cut it to length before I put it in, glue it, and then glue my square to go on top of it. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. But the pocket hole has nothing to screw into, and this was broken when I wiggled that out. I think that's why it was wiggly, because the joint was broken. Now I can fix it properly. The joint does fit in, the part does fit in here tight. So once this is in, we'll have to recut the top of it, but that's okay. This is where we're going to put this. I think what's going to happen when I start turning the bit, it's going to want to drift on me. So I'm just going to use a little gouge and just kind of round this off where the front of the bit will go in. The Forstner bit might work better, I'm not sure. Well, I don't know if that'll work either. See if I can get it started with my hand. Let's see. See, that's wanting to go all over the place. All right, plan B, what do we got? Okay, rather than using a brad point bit, this has got a more rounded bit, tip. I think I can get the 3/8 hole started with that. Let's do it that way. Well, here we go. I'm gonna get the drill up to speed and then drop it in. There we go. All right, see, it worked. Yay. So this will be our pilot hole for the pocket screw, and then I'll fill in the top with a piece of wood. Excellent. Mark this hole, then cut that off. There's the pocket hole repair. Let's get the depth of this. There we go. Now we're going to transfer the depth to this piece to the patch. I cut the part a little bit big on purpose so I can come in and clean it up with a hand plane, and then I cut it large so I can have something to hold on to. Okay, it almost fits in there. I'm going to work on this, and then we'll patch it real quick. I've been fiddling with it to get it to fit. I got my dowel in there for the hole. If this isn't flush, it's not going to work. And I got it flush. So, get a bigger little hammer thing here. There we go. So that is going to be the repair. Now I got to come and I got to cut the patch out to match the joint where the original joint was. You can see this is where the original lines line up for the joint. You can see how much space is behind there, and that pocket screw went through here and then went in the outer space. So I may have to put a patch back there too to make it tighter in the back. But this basically needs to be cut like this. So I've got to take this out, and I'm gonna have to fill this in with something. That'll make that joint a lot tighter, because this pocket screw, like I said, has nothing to screw into. That's why I thought it was stripped. It was spinning into nothingness. So let's fix that now. Don't do it this way. If you're going to do this, just cut this out, put a new piece in the whole thing. This is ridiculous. Going to clean up all that old glue in there too. This joint was just way, way, way too loose. Okay, so we're going to glue everything together, and then I've got to come back and reprofile this so this will fit. And this is obviously cut with the machine. This is how to fix something the long way 101. I don't think I should not it. Let's see. Look a little bit on here, guys. Never know. Never know. That's not cool. It's done. I'll put it on that. I got some way it goes. See, everything. Now, when this dries, I'll cut that dowel, because this fits just like that. You see how much space was between this part of the joint and the back, and that pocket hole went in there and it went down in here and it was screwing into nothing. Now the pocket hole will go into that oak dowel, and this joint is strong now. We got the other side out, and this looks good. It just needs to be cleaned up with glue, re-glued. Pocket holes look good. This one might have to be redoweled. I have to look at it a little bit more. But that is a tight joint. I've already marked it, and of course the mark it where it's going to be assembled anyway. So these look fine. The rest of this looks good. I'm going to take it out of the holdfasts and kind of see if I can get it to rack. If it doesn't rack, which I don't think it will, because this thing looks really solid all through here. So this is the part that I was worried about. So, well, this is what I was worried about. Now let's go on to the other joint. Right, this is the one that we just fixed, which we should have done this joint like I'm going to do this joint. So seeing how this fits in, and it's like really loose, and it flops around, and you see how loose this is, and there's still some glue on this surface and glue on this surface. That's allowing that joint not to close all the way. So what I got to do is I'm going to chisel this out, put a patch in all the way to the bottom here, and then recut the joint and then fit this in tightly. Before I cut anything, I have to mark exactly where this goes, because when I put it in, it can't be, you see it wiggles back and forth. It's got to be exactly where it goes, and I have to put a reference line on here, so when everything goes together, it'll fit exactly right. But the only way to do this is to add material in here, and the right way to do that would just be add material all the way down throughout, and that's what I'm going to do. I think these two joints are the only one I got to cut, but this one is going to be done differently. I'm going to fill the whole thing up and recut the joint. I just have to get the rest of that material out of there and put a patch in there. So while that dries, we're going to cut this, because this is already dry, the one we did before. We're going to cut the profile on it so the joint will fit in it. See if I got the top part in. Okay, so now I just got to make it my joint straight down, and and get the stuff out. But you see what I'm doing, right? Okay, you're going to see that this goes back exactly where it was before. You can see that lines up back exactly where it was before. So now also the pocket holes have something to bite into. So this should be strong. This joint just needs to be cleaned up with glue, and I have to finish, once this is dry, I'll cut this joint in here so I can put the part in that, and this will be tight. This one is already tight, so I had to do two joints. I should have done this one like this one. This is so much easier and faster. But anyway, that'll work. we want this tenon to be right in the center where it was. So I set up my drill, and there's a little bit of space in there. So I go to the, not with the tip, but with the drill bit itself, and that's gonna give me my depth right there. And I have to start my cut where the edge of the blade is right on my line. That's where that tenon goes. And I'm gonna start my cut there. I gotta do it round because the tenon is round. I couldn't make it square, but I'm gonna keep it like it was originally from the factory. And I'm gonna go in right there, right to my line, or however depth that is, however deep that is. Now we take that out with a chisel. I got this cloth underneath it to support it. So the edge of my circle. So it's a little bit too wide. So we'll make it, the tenon's too wide. So we'll continue to make this a tiny bit bigger, and we'll just sneak up on the fit because it's super important that this is tight. Oh man, it's so close. Let me see. We got to go a little bit farther down. I forgot we've got to fix this rail and this support here. On this rail, the dowel is broken off inside there, right? So we have to put a dowel in here and then re-drill this out, and then we got to put that in there. Then we can dry assemble. Here's my dowel centering jig to keep this as straight as possible, and the blue tape is my desktop. That looks good. We're just going to go nice and easy. Got to clear the threads out so we can make progress. Okay, that should be exactly in the center. That's going to be a beautiful repair. This dowel, it's a 3/8 dowel. It fits in this hole, but it fits very, very, very tightly. And what will happen is when you put your glue on this wood's going to expand a little bit because there's a little bit of water in that glue. It's going to expand this, and you have a potential of breaking it off. Or not breaking it off, but expanding this, it'll crack the piece that you're working on, so you have to be really super careful. And not only that, another thing that I learned the hard way is if you don't squirt where glue can squirt out. So I just get my marking gauge that I made, and I just put little scores on the wood where the glue can come out, because I've broken these in the past, and I learned my lesson. So this method seems to work. Now this should fit. Let me do one more time with the sandpaper, and this should be a tight fit, and the glue should be able to escape now because I put those little ridges on there. So that's good. That's okay. We'll leave it like that, and then we'll get the distance and we'll cut it off. And we'll fit it into the rail. I've taped the front of my dowel. That's just in case it won't catch on anything in the hole. I know it won't on a round hole, but sometimes when you cut certain things, something happens inside the hole and you get crazy stuff that happens. So I tape the front. So if anything's stuck in there, like inside the hole, anything sticking out, the dowel won't catch on it and you break your part. So can't get glue on this other side. There we go. Okay. I'm not worried about how long this is right now. I will cut this off later. This is the scary part, because this is when you break everything. But if we did everything right, this should not break. You see how the sound is changing as it goes in? Okay, I'm bottom out. All right. All right, let's cut the other one. The reason why I'm doing this is so when I put my drill bit in here, it'll be centered onto the hole. So I just want to take the dowel out. I don't want to take any of the original leg off or rail. So if I do this, my drill bit will fit inside this little indentation that I'm making, and it'll drill exactly in this spot. That's why I'm taking it out just a little bit, just so the front of the drill bit has a guide to fit in there. Going to 3/8 spot. You see the angled part of that is going to fit right like that, so it'll guide it in that hole. I'm going to use two different bits on this. I'm going to get it started with this one and put my hand in the way, and I'm going to come and do it with a different one, finish it up with a different one. There we go. I'm going to change bits. The reason why I'm doing this is all drill bits aren't made equal. This drill bit is a tiny bit different size, 3/8. So this fits kind of sloppily in the hole. And I know it should be 3/8 is a 3/8 is a 3/8, but it isn't. Now I'm going to use my brad point. There's a little tit in there where I can put the tip of this in, right? Oh, I got to get my desktop. I'm going to make a major mistake. Let me get my desktop. Almost made a big mistake. Forgot to put my desktop on, so I've already measured it, so it won't go through. I'm going to put the brad point in the center of the mark of the hole, and I'm going to get this thing spinning and push. Almost down. All right, we're through. Now, when we cut this off, I've already sanded and scored this side of the dowel, because I knew I needed to come out a little bit more. So when I put this in here, the glue should be able to come out, and we shouldn't break anything when we put it in, because this has already been prepped. And I prepped that when I prepped the other side to go in here. So we should be okay when this goes in. So let's do it. Use my calipers to see how deep the hole is. And then I just go a little bit shallow with that. And I mark my hole. So it comes out that far. So that's the dowel that's going to fit into that hole right there. Oh, that's tight. Okay, that's how it's supposed to fit in there. All right, now I think we can do dry assembly. The noise you hear in the background are the fans running. So, get it in here. Take it in. Assemble this. Model parts. Dry assembly is complete. Dry assembly not only lets you know that everything fits together properly, but it also gives you a procedure in which to assemble. So when you start gluing, you can do it rapidly, and you don't have to be looking for parts and making sure this fits in that, and you develop a process. I'm gonna use Titebond 3 glue to do this, to glue this together. The reason why I'm gonna use Titebond 3, it gives you a longer set time, gives you a longer time to glue your parts together. The Titebond 2 dries more quickly, sticks faster, doesn't give you a long enough time to get everything together. I've got to glue this by myself and put the glue blocks in by myself, and it's not that detrimental because there are built-in clamps here, but I still have to clamp it before I put these in, the pocket screws. This is my practice clamp to make sure that I can put all the clamps on if I need to. I don't think I'll need to do this because there are pocket hole screws in here that will act as clamps, but just in case, I need to make sure that I can clamp this thing all together all at the same time, and I can. And I'll have to make it where I can get the blocks back in there, and these have to be able to line up. I'm going to come in here with a wet paper towel, a damp paper towel, and I'm going to clean all the glue off the surfaces. And no need for you to watch me clean glue up. That's really super exciting. I'm going to do that, and then we'll screw it together with the pocket screws. Well, that glue up didn't go too bad. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the blocks in, pop them with the gun, put those in place. Everything should be good to go. All the parts in the right spot. All the joints are tight. So now we have to negotiate these in. I'm going to start putting these pocket screws in while the glue is still wet and use that to hold it together and align everything. Pocket holes are in. Looks like everything's lining up. I'm going to keep the clamps on, and I'm going to start working on the blocks. I made this little corner bracket so I could clamp this. I made that so I can clamp the glue blocks on, or whatever these are officially called. And I'm going to, if I can get these in there, it's a weird angle, but I'm going to put these in, and I should see how it slides a little bit. I better get the other one started. Okay, I know I'm in the way. Okay. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them. So it's all glued together. It's been here for about an hour, a little over an hour. And I'm just using water and going over the surface just to kind of clean the surface a little bit, something that's not abrasive. And you can see how much dirt, especially, that's probably from shoes right there. So I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. You can see how much dirt's coming off of it. Also, what I'm doing is I'm coming through, and I'm just doing this as a courtesy. This is normally what I do when I do repairs like this. I have these little pens that match the colors, different colors, and this is actual stain, and I'm going to come through and just mark on here where the wood has come off, and I'm just going to make it look a little nicer. Clean the chair up and match this, you know, where it's where the stain has come off. You know, kind of clean it up a little bit here and there. So just to look a lot better when the customer gets it back. Chair's 100% done from what I was tasked to do, and went the extra mile and just kind of cleaned it up a little bit with the marker and wiped some of the dirt and dust and grime off of it. Bottoms in, blown off, ready to go for the customer to pick up. We're going to let this dry overnight. Remember, this is Titebond number 3, so it takes a little bit longer to dry, not 24 hours, but we're going to let it wait for 24 hours. And that's it. She's done. Just as long as nobody leans back in the chair ever again. Like in any chair, they shouldn't do that. But no, it's good. It's nice and solid and sturdy. So, one more done.